Atma Namaste. This is Ritu from Healing Buddha, a counselor, pranic healer, and psychologist. Healing Buddha is a wellness center, a pranic healing center. We conduct online, offline programs for the development and nurturing program for pranic healers as well. We also do a lot of programs which are beneficial for everyone. Like this, we are doing it on an open channel, and this is very helpful for people to know that how they can live their life. We are a center. We also conduct pranic healing classes and other courses, and we also do pranic healing and provide all kind of pranic healing solution. For more information, you can always visit our website or directly get in touch with us. So we are nearing towards the full moon, and this is the third part of our program, Four Noble Truth and Eightfold Path, Festival of Asala, Goodwill Festival. So let's start with a little recap. So Four Noble Truth we have seen: sorrow or suffering, cause of sorrow, ceasing of sorrow, and the way which leads to escape from sorrow. Little more elaborate, the sorrow and suffering we have seen at the monad level, the divine spark level, and the physical level. Then the cause of sorrow is the desire and the attachment. When we have a wrong kind of attachment and attitude towards the worldly desire, often people suffer, and that is called sorrow. Ceasing of sorrow, right attitude towards desires and attachments, adopting a balanced path. That is the solution given by Buddha. So all these 3 points, to cover all these 3 points, you can always visit to our previous videos with the same topic, part 1 and part 2. Now the fourth one is the way which leads to escape from sorrow, or how you can save yourself from sorrow, and that is the eightfold path. So let's go to the eightfold path. The first path, right belief, we have already discussed. So it is very important that we should have a right kind of belief, right kind of attitude towards life. So this belief is not any religious belief or any blind belief, but it is a right kind of attitude based on virtue, based on kindness towards the life, right? And two very helpful point given here is, like, one is law of cause and effect, which can also be called as law of karma, and the second is that to your contribution contribute to make this world a better place to live. That means also that use your life to serve, right? So these are the two beliefs. Now, because we have different kind of faiths and beliefs and religions, sometimes people uh, typed a certain kind of this spiritual beliefs into some religious some particular religion, right? They make that categorize all this thing, like suppose law of karma, like cause and effect. Then people will say, like, it belongs to a certain faith. But we have often seen that what you do good, and goodness comes to us. But even if you don't want to believe, what you have to see is, like, if you take this like as a temporary truth and say that, okay, if I am believing in this temporarily and trying to do some experiment, that if I am doing good, something good is happening to me or not. Can I do an experiment? If you see that there is no harm in trying, because it is not harming any person or any being or anything, not creating any disharmony in society or within my own self. So it is a safe to give it a try, right? And it is a wise to give it a try. So similarly, the second one is like service, serve humanity, serve the earth in your own way. This is not harming, going to harm anyone, right? These 2 points are only and only going to give some people benefit, or the earth benefit. So it is safe to try this thing. So as a temporary truth, we can take these things, take these teachings and try and apply it in our life, and we can see the results. over a period of time, when we see that yes, where what we are doing is giving us happiness, and also it is helping me to develop a right kind of attitude towards the thing. Because for example, for karma, if you do good, good is coming. When you start consciously doing good to people, you will see that, your actions, your thoughts, your speech is controlled. Now, when they are controlled, definitely you will not be harsh or hurtful, which can cause sorrow, right? So, right belief is one of the first eightfold path. Now, the second one is the right thought. The second step of the Noble Eightfold Path is the right thought. Now, the right thought means two separate things. The first demands that we should think about right things and not about the wrong things. Means think about the nice thing, right? Like instead of thinking about quarrel and war and malicious intentions and thinking bad about something, if we think the positive thing, you are already thinking positive. You are always seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, right? So it is already you are taming your mind. Now, we can have at the back of our mind always high and beautiful thoughts, or on the other hand, other minds on sorry, or on the other hand, those minds may be filled with the thoughts of common everyday matter, right? So what we can do is like we can always think about good thought, and then we can always keep the second thing is that we can always keep some beautiful thoughts of service, kindness, generosity at the back of our mind, so that when we are idle, we are not doing anything, only the nice thoughts will come forward and occupy your mind instead of malicious thoughts or worrisome thoughts coming in. Let there be no mistake here. Whatever work we are doing should be done thoroughly and earnestly, and with whatever concentration of thought upon it is necessary for that perfection. But people, even when their work is done, or when there comes a pause in it, still have their thoughts running upon unimportant and comparatively ignoble things. Those who are devoted to the master seek always to hold the thought of the master in the back of their minds, so that when there is a moment's respite from worldly action, at once the thought of him comes forward and occupies the mind. At once the pupil thinks, what can I do to make my life like master's? How can I improve myself that I can show forth the beauty of the Lord to those around me? And what can I do to carry on his work of helping other people? One of the things we can all do is to send out helpful and empathetic thoughts. So he's saying that keep good thoughts in mind, and then always think about virtuously. Like all your thoughts and actions should be guided by the virtue. Now he's saying that we should always, one of the thing what we can do is like we can always think about our master, like our spiritual teacher who has given us the teaching, who has presented the example of service and kindness and virtues, and always think that in this place, if my master is there, what he will be thinking, what he'll be doing, what I should do, what he has taught me. If we keep all these thoughts in our mind, or for example, the great beings like Buddha or Krishna, what they have taught in Four Noble Truth, Eightfold Path, or in Bhagavad Gita, if we all keep those thoughts in our mind in the background, whenever we are free, our thoughts will always go back to those virtuous teachings, and we will always try to bring our thinking process in a very harmonious stage where we are always thinking the right thought. And he's saying that one of the easiest thing to serve, one of the very important things to serve the world is if we send out the positive thoughts in the world. And that is why we all do when we do twin heart meditation where, and or when we do great invocation. What we do, we bless, we pray, we invoke the blessings of divine. The energy comes down and we bless the earth, and verbally we chant and bless that may the world be a beautiful place, may every person, every being be healed, may the world be blessed with hope, faith, and peace, love, harmony, right? So we are sending these positive thoughts to the world. And it is like, you are doing your own bit. And when we come together in a big group, we do so, we are impacting the world in a great way. Remember also, the right thought must be definite and not scattered. Thoughts resting for a moment on one thing and then flying instantly to something else are useless and will not help us at all in learning to manage our thoughts. Right thoughts must never have the slightest touch of evil in it. There must be nothing doubtful about it. There are many people who would not deliberately think of anything impure or horrible, yet they will cherish thoughts which are on the brink of that. Not definitely evil, but certainly a little doubtful. In right thought, there must be nothing like that. Whatever there is nothing, wherever there is nothing which seems is the least suspicious or unkind, it must be shut out. We must be quiet. We must be quite sure that all our thoughts are thoroughly kind and good. So we need to, when we are thinking of the good thing, we should not, our thoughts should not jump. Like, we are thinking about one thing now, and then the thought mind jumped on something else. And particularly when we are doing meditation and all, and when we are blessing it, may the earth be blessed with peace, love, harmony. We should believe on that, that these all are going to the earth and making it better. And when we are talking about the right thought should not be manipulative, or it should not be covering up any manipulative or any malicious thought. For example, you will be thinking that, oh, I don't want him to be selected in this particular college, because I'm thinking very nice about him, because if he go there, suppose you're talking about one of your friend or one of your classmate, and he is going to join a college somewhere, prestigious college somewhere in other country, and you are thinking, I really want that he should not be joining that college, um, because that city is not that safe. But deep inside you, you know that your reason is that you are envious, that is why you don't want, you are just taking an excuse and saying that that city is not safe. So we should be very clear and very positive from inside when we are creating the thoughts, and we should not have any kind of maliciousness attached to it. There is another meaning of right thought, and that is correct thought. There is another meaning of right thought, and that is correct thought. That we should think of truth only. So often we think untrue and wrongly of a person just because of prejudice or ignorance. Now, the first part is that we should have a pure positive thought about people. First. Second is your thought should be correct. What does it mean? It means that sometimes we think about, because we have read somewhere in the news or someone has told something about someone, we start creating a kind of a thought with, or we make a mental image of that person in a very negative way, though it is not true. Sometimes we meet certain people, right, and then we think that, oh, we used to think about you like that, but you are so kind and nice. Because earlier, whatever we knew about that person was based on the information what we got from the other resources. So we should not make any wrong thought, prejudice, or out of ignorance. We get an idea that a certain person is a bad person, and therefore that all that he does must be evil. So that's a kind of assumption we make. We attribute motives to him which are often absolutely without foundation. And in doing so, we are thinking untruly of him, and therefore our thoughts is not right thought. All men not yet adapts have in them something of evil as well as something of good. But most unfortunately, it is our custom to fix all our attention on the evil and to forget all about the good. So he is saying that adapts. Adapts means holy masters. These higher beings, holy masters are the perfect human being, which are fifth initiate. First, second, third. Then the fourth initiate is Arhat, and the fifth initiate is holy masters. And till a being reach to that level, they are always have good and evil both in their whole being, in their whole system. And it is very common that people focus on evil rather than good, isn't it? Like if you have 10 things, and but if you do not have two things, your focus will go that, oh, I do not have two things. Then a person who has done 10 good things, but if that person has done something wrong, the whole attention will go to that, and we will not consider what good thing he is doing or he has done. That is really, really very wrong way to create your thought. And most of the people concentrate more on evil than on good, right? Never to look for it at all. Therefore, our thought about these people is not right thought, not only because it is uncharitable, but because it is untrue. We are looking only at one side of a person and we ignore the other side. Furthermore, by fixing our attention on the evil in the man instead of the good, we strengthen and encourage the evil, thereby whereas by right thought, we might give just the same encouragement to the good side of that man's nature. So, so a man can have good and bad both. But when we come to know about the evil of some person, we always focus on the evil. Now, there can be a situation where we need to fix our gaze on the evil side, because that evil side can be much dangerous than whatever good he is doing, right? But we need to have a very detached kind of attitude and understand that situation and focus on the good side if we want to bring the goodness in that person. Right. And what happened is, like, when we think about just the bad thing about that person, we magnify that energy, because our thought also is thinking about, oh, that person is doing this bad. So we are energizing those bad quality on that person. Now, let me give a very good example which you can apply in your day-to-day life. If you have a family member, whether they are your children, they are your in-laws, they are your spouse, they must be having good or bad. Now, if you focus only on their bad part, uh, you are energizing that bad part. Have you noticed that there are some children who are naughty, but over a period of time they become further naughty, right? So this kind of thing happened because parents are also energizing those thoughts. If your child is weak in one subject and good at four, you are saying that, oh, on four he is good, but this, he is really not good, he's bad, and you are always worry about that one weak subject, ignoring the four, and you are always focusing, no, he's very weak on this, he's very, you are energizing that part. You, how much psychotherapy you do, how much healing you do, it will not give the result, because you are constantly worrying and energizing that weak part of your child. So over a period of time, he will further become weaker and weaker. So So if you are trapped into such kind of thought, try to get rid of it. And thanks to Master Chok Oksoi, we have the techniques, right? Sacrifice technique, psychotherapy. Then those who are in Arhatic Yoga, you know about blue triangle and all. So you can take help of those techniques and get rid of those kind of thoughts. Now, after the thought, like we developed a right kind of attitude towards life, then we knew that everything starts from the thought. So we are here taming our thought, always thinking about the positive things, always thinking about the clear, pure positive things without any hidden malicious intention. Then again, we are thinking correct about someone, not believing on gossips and all, and always trying to have a right kind of attitude to or thoughts towards a person. And also, if we know good and bad quality of a person, try to avoid over concentration on the evil or the bad side. Also see the good side, particularly when it comes to our family member. If we they have any weakness, rather than focusing too much on the weakness, also focus on their strength and work with them to improve on their weak part, rather than criticizing and being worried. Okay, my son is weak on maths. Okay, now rather than repeating that he is weaker, no, he cannot do it, he doesn't like it, and blah blah, you can work on it. Like, okay, let me make a timetable. In in maths, what portion he is weak? Like that, take baby steps and try to help that person to become better on that. Right? Everybody has their own strength. Not everyone can be good at everything. So, but to have a good education, everything should be, little everything should be there. So help your child rather than focusing and energizing the bad part. Right? Now, after that comes to right speech. The third is right speech. And here again, we find just the same two division. The first, we should speak always of good thing. It is not our business to speak of evil deeds of others. In most cases, the stories about the other people which reach us are not true. And if we repeat them repeat them, our words are also untrue, and we are doing harm to ourselves as well as the person of whom we speak. So we should always speak good. Now there is something called non-violent communication. Being assertive is one thing, and being hurtful and malicious and dirty is one thing. Some people's language are really very low in quality. I should say that even if they are talking normally, also they have so much of slangs and abusive words on that. So first thing, we should avoid all these things. Develop an atmosphere in the house where you are using good words in a good way. And then when the language is good at the house, we are communicating it in a proper way, then there should be a non-violent communication. When we have to communicate about someone who has, suppose your maid has broken one of your glass, then rather than being very aggressive and abusive, you can say that it was a very expensive one and you have broken it, because anyway that has broken, right? Now you cannot do anything. Now, either you can be angry or overreact on that. You will be hurtful to yourself, because anger is something like drinking poison for others' mistake. That is also said by Buddha. Yes. So avoid anger, avoid frustration, communicate it in a right way, communicate their duties in a right way. So being assertive is good, but we should always adopt a non-violent communication. We are often taught during the corporate life, right? Like when you are doing appraisal or communicating something to someone, try to bring some good points before communicating them their weakness, right? And communicate in a right way. See, this is not appropriate. I didn't like that. The way you described this, I am not liking it. Could you please stop? So you are communicating, but at that time you're not aggressive, you're not emotional, you're not throwing garbage, you're not trying to show other person down, right? So we should always adopt, and dirty emotions impact our own self, right? And also, we should not repeat if we have heard any gossip. Now you are also started doing gossip with other person about that person without knowing the truth. So that also we need to avoid. So we need to avoid unnecessary negative kind of gossips, and we should always adopt a very non-violent way of communicating things. Right now, there are professions like lawyer and politician, or you are a spokesperson of some company or something, where you need to communicate that. But I think if you hear some of the lawyers, some of the politicians, they speak whatever they want, but their language is very clean, very good, very to the point, and that is not of the lower standard, right? So that kind of right speech we need to develop. And even if the story is true, it is still wrong to repeat it. So do not repeat it about someone's criticism unnecessary. For we do not do no good to the man by saying over and over again that he has done wrong. The kindest thing that we could do would be to say nothing about it. We should do uh, that if the wrong thing were done by a, so we should not, we should avoid doing over criticism. Now, Now, if it is a family member done by your family member, you are hurt. Definitely, you have to communicate that, right? So it is done by your son, your husband, your in-laws, or someone. You need to communicate them. So do not keep quiet. So anywhere, if you are finding it unjust, or something bad is happening, raise your voice. But the way you are raising the voice should be very logical, out of keep the emotions away from there, very logical, with the kind word, with the nice word, in a constructive way, to bring out the constructive solution. Yet again, we must remember that many people make their speech untrue because they allow themselves to fall into exaggeration and inaccuracy. They make little things into enormous stories. So, in the right speech, this also comes. Sometimes people exaggerate the things, right? Like it is a small thing, and then they exaggerate it, make it a big, and so those kind of exaggeration should also be avoided. Again, speech must be kindly, and it must be direct and forceful, not silly. So keep the language straight, clean, soft, kind. A large section of the word exists under the delusion that it must make conversation, that it is odd or rude not to be perpetually blabbing. So do not just talk, talk, talk. See, words and the power of speech is also have lot of energy. So use it properly. If you see some of the saints and all, they speak very less, right? One of the reason is that they want to speak truth. They want to conserve their energy. They do not want to just keep on blabbing. The idea seems to be that when one meets a friend, one must keep talking all the time, or the friend will be hurt. So, you can have a friendly conversation and all, but unnecessary talk, if you do, the chances increases that you are going to say some hurtful words. You have noticed that some people are very, they feel that they are very jovial, but they are actually very sarcastic and very, they comment on people, and then they say, oh, I didn't mean that. So this is kind of unnecessary talk we should avoid. Some people, with the idea of seeming smart, keep up a stream of constant self joking or sneering talk. They must always be capping something that someone else had said. They must always be showing everything in a ridiculous or amusing aspect. Certainly, all that comes under the heading of idle words. So, sometimes, even with the serious talk, also some people keep on, adding jokes and all that thing. At some time, when you want to make an atmosphere light, it is okay, but making fun out of, somebody has breakup. Now it is good to cheer up your friend, but always, making fun so that everybody is laughing, and he will feel good. You are thinking that he is feeling good, but it is, on the other hand, you are very hurtful to that person, right? So being over sarcastic and always adding jokes and unnecessary jokes are all evil things. You need to be very happy person. You need to be laughing and joking and keeping the conversation very light and happy and nice. But at the same time, you need to understand where to speak what, how to speak, and you should not directly indirectly hurting people. You should not blabbering too much that at the end of the day you have to at the end of the day you are not able to control your thoughts, so and your speech. So what you have to do is like you have to be very mindful what you are speaking and stop unnecessary talk, and always have a limit. The jokes and everything has a limit. Have you heard that? You might have seen in movies and all also, like sometimes some people say like now enough is enough, right? Because the person in the front is going overboard. That person is keep on laughing and it is enough. So those kind of things we need to avoid. So that is the right kind of speech. So right kind of belief, right kind of thought, and right kind of speech. So if you have right kind of belief, you will have a right kind of thought because your beliefs are in aligned with the divine plan of peace, love, and harmony, virtuous. So your thought will be virtuous, and when your thought will be virtuous, they will help your speech to be virtuous. So we have covered the three paths. Now comes the right action, which we will see in our next section, in our next part. Atma Namaste. Thank you.